If anyone tells you, oh, that'll be easy when it comes to relationship, or no problems, just, take this one tablet, it fixes everything, or just do this one solution, it will change everything, we just know that doesn't work. The quick fix is not the way to actually get to a deep change. And that is certainly the case when it comes to having conversations around reconciliation with First Nations brothers and sisters. Reconciliation Week is the 27th of May to the 3rd of June 2026 in Australia. And it is wonderful to today be able to have a chat with Safina Stewart from Common Grace. We're going to be hearing her take on Reconciliation Week and what we can be involved in. Just before we head to this conversation, please do like, rate, review, share this with as many people as you can. It helps us get it out to more and more. All right, let's get on with this conversation with Safina. Safina, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, this is fun already. Thank you, Clayton.
Well, that's very nice. My kids don't think when I just go on a long ramble at the start that it's fun already. So I'll let them know that they should be expecting that from now on. I like it.
Good.
Safina, tell us a little bit about, for those who are perhaps unfamiliar with what Common Grace is, first of all, could you talk to us about what Common Grace is?
Oh, Common Grace, it's a great name. But we are a really diverse movement of Christians all the way from all over Australia, but we also have connection in Aotearoa, New Zealand, with Common Grace Aotearoa, and we're people pursuing Jesus and justice. And we are absolutely working towards the flourishing of all people and all of creation. The thing that I love about this movement, and yes, we actually do call ourselves a movement rather than a church that has a physical building. There's so many people connected, usually through online or relational networks. But one of the things that we all are trying to do is come together, animated by the vision of the good that God intends for the world. And by pursuing justice, which is an action-orientated word, drawn together with love and beauty and grace that is demonstrated and modeled to us by Jesus, we're wanting to make a difference in this world. So not being a passive space where we're in a holy huddle, having our faith as our own little banquet, but actually making it visible in the known experience of people who have been suffering or ostracized or marginalized because of injustices. And Common Grace, we just love encouraging followers of Jesus to act on issues of injustice. And one of the gifts that we do, and one of the great privileges that I get to be a part of, is creating tools and resources and training so that Christians, churches, faith spaces can have an effective voice in the public sphere to do with the four key issues that we are working on. So I should say that, though, because there are four clear issues that we are working on. The first is for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander justice. The second is for God's beautiful creation and for climate justice. The third is for people seeking asylum who are needing peace and restoration and welcome. And the fourth area is justice against violence for women and families and children. So those four areas are where we work directly in. But of course, there's interconnectedness all the way through, and these areas also connect to many other areas of justice that are also benefited through our work. Yeah. I hope that wasn't too much information.
It was wonderful. And what we're going to do
is all in the name.
Exactly. Common Grace. It does summarize all of those. We're going to really zoom in on the first of those justice pieces today, and that's around the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander justice, and specifically around National Reconciliation Week that is coming up this week. It starts on the 27th of May and then runs through to the 3rd of June. The theme this year is All In, Reciprocity as Reconciliation. Could you talk to us about, I suppose, how the theme was even understood and the meaning that you see behind that theme, Safina?
Well, all in means you got to be all in. It's It's about a wholehearted commitment. And reconciliation, of course, is about friendship and trust, reconnection and restored relationship. When we talk about the word reciprocity, we're talking about a mutual relationship where both parties, all parties in the relationship are mutually benefited. So in the theme All In, it's an invitation to step off the sidelines and commit wholeheartedly to the shared work of reconciliation, and remembering that reciprocity is one of the key elements of reconciliation, where we can lean on truth-telling and justice and humility and respectful relationships to actually raise up stronger responsibility and relationship between us. The thing about reciprocity that I'm finding interesting is a shared sense of responsibility for the other. I'm loving that at the moment with just how the world is, how community is, how family is, just how the whole space of life is at the moment. We need to take responsibility for each other's care. And so this theme of all in reconciliation as reciprocity, there's so much connectedness to the global sphere, our national sphere, as well as the relationship that Australia has with its Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples.
Can we talk a
There's
bit?
so much more I want to say.
Well, we've got time. It's all right. So let's talk a bit as well about the importance of even just having a week like this, Safina. I think it was many years ago, actually, the first time we ever had a chat was around a National Reconciliation Week. The importance of having a week like this, I'd like you to just speak about that. And is there ever a downside that people think, oh, well, we're only ever going to focus on this during this week? Or no, it doesn't matter. As long as we're talking about it, this is the important thing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, bit of history. So in 1991, there was this epic royal commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody. There were significant deaths of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people while they were either in police custody or imprisoned. And the outcry from society when the word got out was, what's going on here? So the government did do a royal commission, and a whole heap of recommendations were handed down over after the report was released. There were 339 recommendations, which is a lot of recommendations. And the last one, so many haven't been implemented, I just need to say. But one that was the last one, which said implement a formal process of reconciliation between Aboriginal peoples and the wider community. And so after that recommendation was listed, there were actually a whole heap of Christians who got together and created a week of prayer. I think that was in 1993. So Christians have been a part of this already for a long time. That National Week of Prayer in 93 ended up becoming the National Reconciliation Week that we know now in 1996. So, big report, small steps by a small group in the community, which then ended up becoming a very broad and remarkable week of connection. It is a week, and I do have to point out that I wish it wasn't only a week, because I do believe that reconciliation should be everyone's business all the time. You are living on Aboriginal country. You are living in lands that have never been ceded. So if you are calling home here in Australia, then you're part of the story just simply by making home here. And so therefore reconciliation is your business, no matter whether you recognise it or not. That might be harsh, but I'm trying to say it as an invitation. But
love that.
One of the beautiful things is that this week it marks very, very significant historical dates. So it's a little bit odd when people say 27th of May to the 3rd of June. It's like, why didn't you pick better days where it's easy to throw in your calendar rather than flipping the page over on the fridge? But the significant dates are that the 27th of May, that's actually the anniversary of the referendum that allowed for Aboriginal people to become citizens. So you can see that's a pretty significant moment for reconciliation in our Australian history, right?
Yep.
A day to celebrate. That's why that 27th of May is rightfully the beginning of Reconciliation Week. And then on the other end, the 3rd of June, that marks the decision in 1992 when the Mabo case was won. And the Mabo decision, that overturns this false doctrine of terra nullius. And people might not have heard of what terra nullius means, but it's the lie that was used that claimed this continent as being vacant, that there weren't any humans on it and therefore didn't belong to anyone. And so therefore, the British Empire could just naturally overtake it and come and populate it. But that false doctrine was overturned in the Mabo case, which then explained and held true that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are the sovereign custodians of these areas. And so therefore, it meant that the truth came out that we are the people of this land. So again, another very significant moment for the work of reconciliation, where the truth of our historical connection with this beautiful and sacred land, the waters, the oceans, the animals, all of it, where we have been caring for it since time immemorial as First Peoples, that relationship was made fact again when that Mabo decision was laid down. That's a very significant moment and date that then closes off Reconciliation Week.
Let's also, we're going to talk specifically in sort of the second half of our conversation around some of the things that you are encouraging us to do from Common Grace. So we'll talk about that. Could we just do one final sort of definition around it, around reconciliation itself? I think people have a lot of different ideas in their heads around what that might actually mean. What do you mean when you talk about reconciliation in terms of this Reconciliation Week? What is reconciliation?
Oh, okay. Basic, lowest foundational piece is that reconciliation is about a restoring, a healing, understanding, and a working together towards better. It's a restoring of relationship that somehow has been broken, basically. If I was going to give a definition of reconciliation to young people or to children, I would say reconciliation is like friendship. When you love and respect and care for your friend, whenever there's a broken something that happens and there's a lot of pain in that relationship as a result, maybe someone's hurt you or you've hurt them, reconciliation is the work that we do to restore our friendship so that it's not just back to where it was, but it's better off for our future together. When it comes to reconciliation for me in my Christian faith, it obviously connects to how God stepped in to make things better, to change the brokenness that was in relationship with us and himself, that God reconciled us back to himself. When I think about reconciliation for me and all of creation, I think, what have I done that may have harmed the rest of creation, that I might need to reverse or change or not do anymore, so that I can leave creation better off rather than decimated or hurt or non-existent. And then when it comes to reconciliation, as it relates to my people of our First Nations heritage, so Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, I'm talking about reconciliation, connecting with the way that our relationships began together. Unfortunately, here in Australia, because of the pursuit of colonisation to take our lands and steal our lands, to kill our people, take our children away, there is incredible rift and incredible continuing pain and impact from those first years of colonisation and the continuing issues that still remain because of that colonial pursuit. Those areas of brokenness are having a huge impact on our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people still. And those impacts need to be reversed. Those injustices that are continuing, they need to be stopped and they need to be changed because we need to have our relationship restored. I believe that from a faith direction and also from a cultural connection point as well, because culturally, our people have always passed down that we are to leave things better, not worse, that we are to think of our collective well-being, not our singular, selfish, independent, away from everybody else's well-being. So from all those perspectives, reconciliation is very much about healing. It is about honesty and truth-telling and confession and lament. It's about forgiveness and apology. And most of all, it's about faith, because without faith and trust and, dare I say, this power that is so much greater than us, that I would call this magnificent spirit and God of love, without any of that, then we will remain to be going down the plug hole, which is not only destroying so much of what is possible between us, but it is continuing to do the opposite of what I believe God's vision and call and invitation to us all is, which is to see the flourishing of all, and that includes people and creation.
Safina Stewart is Common Grace's storyteller and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander lead. We're going to be back with Safina in a couple of minutes' time so we talk more about National Reconciliation Week and what you can do, maybe your local church, maybe your community group, your school, maybe a small group from church. What is some of the practical things that you can be involved in during National Reconciliation Week? We're going to hear that from Common Grace's perspective on the way next here on Towards Understanding.
Share your brand, your event, your message across 90 Christian radio stations and major cities in Australia and New Zealand by sponsoring Towards Understanding, hosted by Clayton Bielen. More than 210,000 people tune into Towards Understanding each week, and with just one sponsorship, you'll reach this immense engaged audience. Find out more about this exciting and unique opportunity now on the sponsorship page at positivemedia.com.au.
We heard a bit of the history with Safina. We heard her definitions around reconciliation as well. And we now want to talk about, well, what do we actually do? Safina, I'm wondering if you'd talk to the ideas of somebody who perhaps is from a First Islander heritage, someone who's Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander, how they approach this week. And then also the flip of that, what can we be doing if we are not somebody who is First Nations heritage? How best should we be approaching this week as well?
Yeah, well, for my beautiful Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people out there, I just want to thank you for all the hard work that you have already been doing, the commitment to stay true to yourself and to our family and to our community, to our ancestors, our old people, and the teaching of our elders. I just want to thank you for your faithfulness and for your continuing, just resilience. I know that it's hard, and I know that it's a big struggle to do reconciliation because there's a lot of people who don't know and they don't see. And so my prayer for you and for all of our mob is that we will have the strength, that we would call on the strength of all those people who have loved us from the generations before, and that we would call on the strength of our loving Creator to give us the wisdom and the words and the guidance to keep going, even though there is much hostility, even though there's much misunderstanding. For you, I just want your action to be to continue standing and to continue speaking and holding. But also, I want to say to you that rest is calling you from country, and so please make sure that over this time of Reconciliation Week that you take time to be in our beautiful community of creation. And my prayer is that you would find rest and restoration and great joy there. Yeah, but most of all, I just want to say that your action is to be the brilliance and the beauty that you already are, and continue to display how remarkable and how beautiful our people and our culture is, that we are a gift to this nation and that we love them. That would be to my mob. For my non-Indigenous brothers and sisters, I would like to say to you, welcome to your new home, these beautiful lands, unceded by our remarkable people. We want you to be healthy and well here on our lands, and we also want you to find your ways to care for country and to care for community in ways that are deeply meaningful and that are authentic, that are not just performance-based, but are a deep commitment. They're not shallow, but they are completely embedded and authentic. For you, I would ask that you keep learning as much as you can, remaining curious and open-hearted, learning about the local history in your area where you live, where you have lived, where you work, where your children go to school. Find out the stories of old. Find out the broken stories where there needs to be restoration, where there needs to be renewal. Find out the good stories as well, where there are examples of remarkable, courageous people who did great things for speaking out truth, for defending the marginalised or the oppressed. Speak about the history of these lands, our beautiful Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander heritage, and the remarkable First Nations people who were the leaders who spoke up and who did remarkable things to advocate for the human rights of their people. I ask that in that learning that you would do it prayerfully and that you would do it together with others. What Common Grace offers is support in that journey, and one of the things that we've done this year and all the years prior is we've resourced churches and schools with a toolkit to help with information as well as activities that will help their communities to connect with the work of reconciliation.
So the best opportunities as well, it would be to go to commongrace.org.au, commongrace.org.au, and then you can actually click on the National Reconciliation Week there. So that might be the fastest one. We can add that in as well, but that would be the space. And then you could sign up for the church toolkit and all sorts of other things as well. What sort of things are in these toolkits that actually say, well, this is what we can now go and do, Safina?
Yeah. Well, we've got a acknowledgement of country. We've got Bible readings. We've got a prayer video, creative activities, a benediction, and we also have a beautiful recorded reflection between a number of our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Christian leaders. And it's all exploring that theme of all in for reconciliation and reciprocity. So it's a beautiful toolkit. Oh, I had so much fun helping create it. And I have Auntie Donna Meehan, who is a wonderful Awabakal elder who lives in the Newcastle area. And Auntie Donna Meehan and I get to have a beautiful conversation about reciprocity, not only from a black fella point of view, but from a biblical perspective as well. And then we fuse all that together and jam it together to help with people's understanding of how reciprocity is absolutely one of God's greatest gifts of reconciliation and how healthy and good it is for relationships.
Safina, this is a question that I know you get often, and also that would, I'm assuming, hurt quite a lot as it cuts through. So I sort of ask this knowing that this is the case, which would be around the sense that some churches, as they go, oh, well, okay, the thing this week we're going to do acknowledgement of country, or we're going to have these conversations, they're like, this is making it political. We're bringing politics into the space of church. And it's become a wedge for some people in the Christian faith in Australia. What would you say, and you always have such a loving heart, even though I'm sure it's frustrating for you, what would you say in regards to how do we just broach that topic first and talk through that, so we can say, look, the aim is not to be about division, it's actually about reconciliation.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear how it's been twisted. Look, I want to apologise to everyone officially for every blackfella out there. On behalf of my people, I'm really sorry that we've been made political. There are lots of things that have been done against us, that whenever you bring up anything to do with Aboriginal people get their backs up and feel that something controversial is going to be raised. I'm really sorry about that. It's not because of our doing, I do want to say. It's something that's been done against us, and we at the forefront feel the absolute pain of when people call us divisive or politically charged. We are the ones who feel it viscerally, because it is another charge against us that's trying to separate us from you, from each other, and trying to other us. So that's the first thing I want to say. I don't think I've ever said it like that, but if people are confused about why things are so political, I'm not wanting to blame you, and I'm also not wanting to blame us. I'm wanting to say that it's always been a hot topic, and I hope that we can see past that as well. It does break my heart when sometimes people are using that as an avoidance tool, or when it is used as a fear topic that drive people apart. That doesn't just crush my heart. It makes me incredibly angry, to be honest with you, Clayton, because I know that at the heart of my Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultural values and the depth of meaning and wisdom that our people hold is this deep substance of welcome, of including everybody, of providing a space of belonging and love. Our great heart is that we would be able to look after this magnificent place that our Creator has given to us, and to be able to support and help those who need home here, while also inviting them to continue to care for all the beauty that Creator has given to us. I know it from a biblical space when God gave us the responsibility of being caretakers over creation, and I also know it from a faith-based and biblical base when Jesus said that we are to love one another, and that by loving one another, then we will know, or then they will know, everyone will know that we are His disciples. So my invitation is to come along for the ride, and you might feel uncomfortable or nervous about doing that. It might not be an area that is familiar or that you've tried before, but I would like you to lean in on the greater purpose here. And the greater purpose isn't something that we've made up ourselves as humans. It's actually a call that comes from the one who is far greater than us, that knows our potential, that knows our purpose, and that knows our identity, and is continually calling us back to that, has made a way possible through the resurrecting power and grace of Jesus Christ, but who also wants us to join in the good work of making things well and making things right.
Thank you, Safina. commongrace.org.au. Now, that's the place to sign up for your church toolkit, to find out more about how you can get involved with a local community group or a work group or a small group. commongrace.org.au. You can also donate to the work of Common Grace there and all of the various aspects of justice that they are about. And also all their links to the social media are found there as well, so you can follow them and find out more as well. The best place, commongrace.org.au. Safina Stewart is Common Grace's storyteller and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander lead, has been chatting to us today about National Reconciliation Week coming up from the 27th of May to the 3rd of June. Safina, always a pleasure to have a chat. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your time with us.
Thank you, Clayton. Thank you, everybody, and happy Reconciliation Week.